Hey, it's Jimmy Lee Lard, the Sock Snob. And we're back for another episode of the Sock Mob. Right, just streamed all up. This is another episode of the Sock Mob where we talk about some serious topics, some not so serious topics. So I do want to talk about one today, but before I do, I want to introduce you to my panel, the Sock Mob. So over here we have Jonita, world famous, world renowned opera diva.
You said that last time.
I didn't say all that.
He can say that every time.
I know,
Okay,
I'm getting jealous over his stuff.
All right, RJ is to my left here, world famous what?
World famous human. I'm a world famous human.
All right, and then we got my guy G. All right, we go way back. Like babies with pacifier, not really, but you know. All right, so I have a question for you guys, but and it stems from a couple weeks ago. When is this? Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, I was in Puerto Rico, and the taxi drivers blocked the roads into Old San Juan, so no traffic could get in and out, and they did this. So it's taxi drivers and trucks, their union. And they did this because they were protesting Uber, which has been there for a little bit, just for a short few months now. So, and we find out about this in the worst time. We are in an Uber on our way to Old San Juan. But in either case, they shut down traffic in the city to the point where I actually missed my flight the next day because of that, because of people who couldn't get out and things like that. So, also, Uber drivers, their windows are getting busted out. They're getting beat up. Our resort that we stayed at would not even allow Uber drivers onto the property because they had had fights with taxi drivers. Taxi drivers had jumped on them and stuff like that. So I want to know what you think about taxis versus Ubers. By the way, this Puerto Rico trip, I was with people who take Ubers all the time. It was actually my very first time in an Uber. I had never been in an Uber before, but the price difference was significant.
Can I start first?
You can start first, RJ. Go for it.
Okay, we live in the city of Chicago.
We do.
When last time you seen
Now you told these people where we are. Lord Jesus.
I'm in the
Don't
birds.
tell nobody.
Don't look for me.
I split my time between here and D.C. So
Suburbanite.
if you disagree with me, look for me in D.C.
So in the city of Chicago,
Yeah.
to get a medallion
Yes.
is about, somebody said, roughly between $600,000 $300,000 for these medallions. And what the companies actually do is they buy the medallions and they kind of rent them out, lease them out to the cab drivers. So now, with that being said, taxi cab drivers have to get background checks. They have to pay for this. They have to pay for that. You know, a whole lot of money goes into it. Which that money then goes to the city of Chicago. City of Crooks, same difference. So now, I'm a product of Robert Taylor's. Now, let me tell you, Robert Taylor's The Project.
Tell them.
Let me tell you,
4037 South Federal.
the original.
They are gone. I put that in the song.
Wait.
Go back and listen to the song. Put that.
The original Uber drivers was the taxi man that would bring your mama home after she done went to one stop and bought all them groceries.
Yes.
That was
I
the
still take
original.
those, by the way.
Right, those were the original Uber drivers. Why? Because there was no taxi cab coming to our neighborhood.
Yes.
You talking about Jet Livery?
Yeah.
Jet Livery.
Shout out to Jet Livery.
Or
79th and King
Or
George.
even the
79th
old
and
man
Queen,
with the
Black
black
Power.
station wagon that was just standing out there. You needed help with your groceries, and it was like $5 to $10 to get you back up the street.
Yes.
So that was the original Uber.
My mother then was an original Uber driver because my mother did use
every day. Your mama been hustling
she
for a
was.
long time.
Oh yes, she has.
So,
yep.
but when you
she
think
was
of
one
it,
of the
now,
only ladies too.
Go on, be a pioneer.
You find your driver from the grocery store and you stick with him.
you stick with them,
Well,
but they
there you
use
go.
the number they call.
There you go.
So what? Then this is the reason they'll never be able to stop Uber. It's like technology. It's movement.
Yeah.
We got these phones, and every couple of years they come out new. So if I live in unquestionable neighborhood like Jimmy, every time something always happens to me over here at Joe. So, but it's always wait, something over here. And there's not going to be any taxi cabs coming down here at 12, 1 o'clock. But I can get this app, get an Uber, and somebody, gonna come in about 7 or 8 minutes to pick me up and take me where I need to go.
And plus, if I'm not mistaken, with that app, there's history about you as well as about the driver. And each one of you can decide to.
I've never taken Uber.
So wait a minute, when you say history.
So you get to rate each other or whatever. So you get to rate the driver if they were good, car was clean, smelled good.
Oh, so you don't see, you just don't, okay.
So when you look,
you look at the picture, but you don't rate the picture.
You also know exactly what type of car they're coming to get with you.
It's a picture and all
As you can
that.
tell, I don't.
I've never done Uber in Chicago. I didn't take Uber the first time till me and my wife took a trip to Miami. And it was the best experience ever. And not only that, usually the Uber drivers can give you more information than a cab. I've been in a cab in Chicago.
I've been in many cabs.
Sometimes they don't speak all the way English, but they, sometimes, if you know where you're going, you're like, no, dude, you're supposed to go around this way. You feel like you're trying to get beat out.
Whereas with Uber, it's the app the whole time. It's also their GPS.
Right, and it's taking you, and then they can even, like, when we was in Miami, the Uber drivers were like, oh yeah, you want to shop this place, you should go here, you should go there. Yeah. Excellent car, clean. It was just a really nice experience. Uber's not going anywhere. Yeah. Uber is here to stay. Chicago went from 3,000 people applying to be taxi cab drivers in 2014 to almost half that in 2015. 2016, they said it was down to something like 800 people had applied. Yeah. So, which means the city is losing money.
That is because I do a lot of shopping and stuff. So when I'm out in certain areas, all you see are Uber, Lyft. I guess we should include Lyft in this conversation too. Lyft. And we sometimes joke. We say, everybody's a damn Uber driver. All they're doing is keep driving around other Uber drivers. But anyway, the price difference is significant. And like you said, the technology for cabs has not really changed all that much in all these years.
You got better technology with the bus service.
Yeah, true.
The bus gonna come in 15, So it's
same thing with Uber.
Right.
When we used it, we were able to see.
I'm 2 minutes away.
So we knew we had the right person. We could see him as it
come. Oh,
that's
there
him.
you go.
That's Stan.
That's the white Chevy.
Shout out to all my Uber drivers down in Puerto Rico who are putting up with that stuff. It's been a real struggle. And when I posted that video, and you can take a look back, it was one of my vlog videos. And I give a little more detail about it, so check that out as well. I'll put a link to it in this video description too. So G, what are your thoughts? I know you don't use Uber, but
I've used Uber in Vegas. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And that was personally I didn't use it.
You were with somebody.
Yeah, I was with somebody. It was a group of us, and I think 2 or 3 of them had the Uber app, and they had Uber XL and all that stuff. This is all like my first time of experiencing and hearing about Uber. So
Uber.
Yeah, my experience was just all
Das ist Deutsch. Uber. Sorry. Okay.
Girl.
And it's all
everybody knows Uber.
Well, that's what they call it too. So
it was all in Las Vegas. It was if you ever been to Vegas, traffic is crazy on the strip, and you got the buses.
A lot of vacation places.
A lot of vacation places where they have like a little tourist, a tourist area. You got the bus option, you got the taxi option, and now the Uber. I honestly feel like I was wondering, I would say a couple months ago, I was thinking about here in Chicago. And I was wondering why there hasn't been like a big deal with taxi cabs and Uber and Lyft at this point within this city. Yeah. And when you went there, had that experience, I was shocked that hadn't happened here. Especially,
but
you got New York, and you got Chicago.
It did happen. They were trying to push Uber out. You had the aldermen.
They were doing it.
They were
the lobbyists.
Right. They were trying to basically.
Yeah, but they weren't doing
trying
that.
Right, push
and they weren't busting out windows and attacking people.
Once again, that's why I was surprised, because you got a city like Chicago and New York, these big cities where Uber and Lyft is moving in. I'm surprised that it wasn't like more violence.
And then you
was
have people
Uber.
like Janita and I know I take tons and tons and tons of taxis all the time. Like when I'm traveling, I take taxis all the time. Like I said, all these years, and that Uber has been around for these last couple of years or whatever, this was my first time in one.
But that says a lot. That says a lot that we're all in the same city and we haven't experienced a lot of it here.
And that's why that's because we have cars too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we do.
So we will take our vehicles too.
That's true.
And I can see why maybe it's not so much as the vice thing, because we look at the city of Chicago and the way the economy is. Why would you want to stop people from making money?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's two sides always to a coin. Mm-hmm. Of course, you want to have opportunity, and I think anytime you have a monopoly over something, you need to have something knock that monopoly over. Mm-hmm. So that's what's happening, I think, to a certain degree, from taxi cabs to Uber.
And in certain places, particularly if you've visited Puerto Rico a lot, so you know it's a very touristy area, and there's certain industries that capitalize on that, and the cab industry is one of them. And even locals, unfortunately, have to pay these jacked up rates. Because they stick it to the tourists, but unfortunately the locals get it too.
But I will say this, it was not here. I was performing in Portugal, and I had they did not have taxis all over the place, and I wanted to go to particular places of interest, and I spoke to a taxi cab driver, and he became my driver for the day. And we got along wonderfully. He explained so many different things to me, and
and you see that a lot.
That's what I was thinking.
It's not. I don't know what it is in Chicago, because I'm gonna tell you honest truth. I was attacked on public transportation, and me and the Lord had a conversation. And I said, if I can't get there in a car, I'm not meant to go. From that point on, I have never been in any type of public transportation here in Chicago. I take that back. One time when my car was towed and I couldn't find somebody to take me to the pound, I took a cab because I didn't have an Uber app or anything like that. But I think that anytime you have a monopoly, it needs to open up. At the same time, when you were saying about the protests, I don't condone violence as far as that's concerned, but you do have to do something to get everybody's attention. So I know that it was extremely more than a notion to miss your plane.
Expressways.
Now
they were the parking lot is how bad it was.
That's my phone, by the way. Sorry.
And when you say like that,
I mean, I don't want anybody to miss anything important. I mean, you're talking about planes
that you gotta get somebody attention.
You talking about
you get somebody attention?
People that miss their surgeries
and I had to buy a brand
new
damn ticket.
But at the same time, if you don't get people's attention, how is anything ever going to change?
And then too, the other things about Uber is I know people who do actually work for Uber who didn't have a vehicle, but through Uber were able to lease a vehicle and get it. And I was like, wow, one of the biggest new companies that does that has this app, they don't own any cars. I mean, it's like when you think about it, it's like, wow, they don't own any cars, but this is one of the biggest things.
If you really look at it, to touch on definitely what Janita was saying, but what everybody was saying is simple. Evolution came in. It happened. And the taxi cabs, you were saying this earlier, Jimmy, the taxi cabs to me, as far as over the years, wherever they progressed that, like, you know what I'm saying, there was an opportunity. I think they got real lax with the taxi cabs, and we got this monopoly, we good, they gonna always meet us. Uber and Lyft came in and knocked them on their ass, like real quick. They came in with something that was much better. It was, it was easier. It's more technology involved, and it's cheaper.
So how can you argue with that?
You can't.
That's why it's not going anywhere.
You gotta let that in. Like, hey, y'all slept. Y'all asleep.
Well,
Y'all sleep in
actually,
taxi cabs.
You know what? There are some instances where it would not work. There are people, particularly senior citizens and so on, who may not have smartphones and an Uber app and all of that. So there are segments of the population
that they gonna figure out a way to kind of bring them in.
But the other thing that I was thinking about,
maybe call that Uber for me.
Exactly.
I gotta go to the doctor.
For me personally, I have a young daughter.
Right.
And sometimes she needs to be transported here, transported there. I'm not necessarily able to do it. And somebody asked me, well, why don't you let your daughter do Uber? And I have to say, that's not going to happen.
Not for her age.
She has to go with somebody that I know.
Right.
Now, if I know the Uber driver, you know, if it was one of y'all or something, that might be a different story.
Right. Damn Uber drivers.
But would it be the same as if...
I thought I was going to do it.
Well, you're right. Y'all ain't no Uber drivers because I ain't paying y'all.
Right. Would it be the same as if it was a taxi cab? Like, why don't you get a taxi for her or whatever?
Oh, no, I would never do a taxi.
And
that feels so strange,
Yeah.
That's the other thing, too. With Uber, there's no exchange of money. So that's he doesn't have to worry about getting robbed or nothing like that. Whereas you know,
but there have been times when the Uber or the taxi driver have attacked the person in the vehicle,
and vice versa.
And vice versa,
few and far between, though. There haven't been a lot of those instances, though.
But that's where they really try to come down hard on Uber drivers in Chicago when that one Uber driver who was supposedly had raped this young lady, and it actually came out that he actually didn't do it, but they didn't publicize that he didn't do it the way they publicized that he was arrested and charged with it or whatever.
Sensationalized. Once all the hype is over with, that's when the truth has come out.
Right, nobody cares about the truth anymore.
All right, I think we had a good conversation about taxis versus Ubers. I mean, there's a little bit of market out there for everybody.
All 49.
My mama and them.
The original Uber drivers.
Right. And
around forever.
I take one every morning from here to the train. I do.
Jet livery?
Not jet livery.
The guys from all.
I guess shout out to
the guys they call
L&P. That's what they're called. L&P livery.
Well, you should have somebody on. They should be out your crib every morning to come pick you up. You shouldn't have to call.
That early, it's still dark, and it's always worked for me. So. And then if I'm traveling, my luggage.
I use a car.
So, well, yeah, there's that. I used to have one of those back in the day. All right, everybody. Check us out on the website. It's therealsocksnob.com. We are the Sock Mob. So, also on Instagram, it is The Real Sock Snob. Comment below. Tell us what you think about taxis and Ubers. Are you an Uber driver? You weigh in. Are you a taxi driver? Ooh, let's hear that shit. All right. Bye.
Bye.
I wanted to put together a group that could talk about anything.
We get our news from Facebook. You know what I'm saying? It's that type.
From extremely serious to, well...
Remember, anything that's not penetration is foreplay.
So I put together a group that's made up of gay, straight, married, single, divorced, blue collar, and white collar. I wanted everybody to be represented.
Hey, it's Jimmy Lee Lard, the Sock Snob.
Actually, I'm Jimmy Lee Lard, the Sock Snob. And this is the Sock Mob.
Please join us every Tuesday and Thursday for new episodes by searching The Sock Mob on YouTube or log on to therealsocksnob.com.